All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel for another weekly update. Hope everybody had a lovely week, and yeah, hope everybody's really ready for Easter, guys. All right, hope everyone's excited to see fam. Hey, just know, hey, all right, tell those family members that you love them. Tell them that they mean a lot to you. All right, let them know, because family's not something everyone gets, and at some point, one point or another, our family members are not going to be with us. So, whether that is us leaving or them leaving, just, hey, guys, just remember that, all right? Tell them how much they mean to you. All right, let's get into the weekly update, guys. All right, so let's just start off here. We'll just go over what we got coming on this week. All right, we do have we have the big guys of the week are going to be CPI, and then you have PPI coming out the day after, and then you will have these retail sales. All right, in my personal opinion, this is going to be what drives the market. And yeah, that is that. All right, you do have these two Fed speakers going over there. All right, so that could be doing something, but likely the big market movers are going to be PPI and CPI over there. That is what I'm thinking. All right, now I'm going to show you guys fear and greed index is over here. I am still looking for this thing to push up over here. All right, and that is going to go along with analysis for today. All right, so let's just X those out right there, and we're going to come over here. I'm just going to come right there. All right. So now, before we actually get into the analysis, I'm going to read you guys something from page 81 of the Elliott Wave Principle. All right. And I want to give a shout out to Mr. El Cap. All right, guys. El Cap, hey, if you want to leave a comment in the comment section so people could just click on your channel and go sub or whatever, hey, there you go. All right, guys. If you want to know about Elliott Wave, all right, if you want someone who will give you detailed analysis, El Cap, he is your guy. So there you go. All right, so I'm going to read this, and I say thank you, El Cap, because I would not have went and picked up this book, and I would not have seen a few pages later this, all right? B-Waves, all right? Page 81, B-Waves. B-Waves are phonies. They are sucker plays, bull traps, speculators' paradise, orgies of odd mentality, or expressions of dumb institutional complacency, or both. They often involve a focus on a narrow list of stocks, are often unconfirmed by other averages. See Dow theory discussion in Chapter 7. Are rarely technically strong and are virtually always doomed to complete retracement by wave C. If the analyst can easily say to himself, there is something wrong with this market, chances are it's a wave B. Or it's a B wave. X waves and D waves in expanding triangles, both of which are corrective wave advances, have the same characteristics. Several examples will suffice to illustrate the point. All right, and now I'm going to read this. All right, I'm going to read this. And this is a quote. All right. Many observers took it to be a bull market signal. I can remember having shorted stocks early in December 1929 after having completed a satisfactory short position in October. When the slow but steady advance of January and February carried above the previous high, I became panicky and covered at a considerable loss. I forgot that the rally might normally be expected to retrace possibly 66% or more of the 1929 downswing. Nearly everyone was proclaiming a new bull market, services were extremely bullish, and the upside volume was running higher than at the peak of 1929. All right, now I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to just come over here. We're just going to paint the picture I'm seeing right here, all right? Wave A, wave B, wave C. And then you have these dotted lines, all right? These dotted lines. Let's read what it says there, right? Narrow emotional advance. Technically weak, selective, results in non-confirmations, fundamentals weaken subtly, aggressive euphoria, and denial. I think that sums up what we got going on right here. All right, and that's why I say shout out to El Cap. First of all, I would have never opened this book, yeah, at least at that time, and literally went a few pages later and found that. All right, there's that. But I know you also either made a post or was in one of your videos. You literally showed, or maybe you didn't show it and you just talked about this, but I'm pretty sure you called out this narrow emotional advance. So shout out to you for that one. All right, there's that. New level of connecting the dots. All right, there's that. And I'm just saying, guys, all right, that is pretty aligned with what we got going on right here, all right? You have this, in my opinion, it's an emotional advance, all right? You have everyone not knowing what the heck's going on, all right? And as it's stated there, all right, If an analyst can easily say there's something wrong with this market, or I mean, I guess it didn't exactly say that, paraphrase it, but yeah, I could, like, the chances are it's wave B, and then wave B gets completely retraced by wave C. Well, that would align with what we've been going over. All right, there's that. And I'm not a perma bear, not a perma bull. I don't care what really happens in the end. All right, I will trade what's in front of me, and that's just how we're gonna have to take things. All right. But yeah, all right, this makes complete sense to me. All right, I've been saying something's not adding up here. There's, like, clearly something's not adding up. And I gave you guys two scenarios. We're either going to go slightly higher on QQQ, and then we're going to have a big sell, or we're going to go slightly lower over on IWM, and then we're going to have the big buy. All right, but guess what? All right, it looks like we're setting up to have the big sell. We're probably going to end up going up for one more high, and then we're going to see that top out. I told you guys that I was looking for a $7 to $8. Well, I wasn't looking specifically for this, but I showed you guys the past two times this condition got hit during the bear market here. All right, on QQ, and then we also had a condition over here on the CCI with SPY. All right, they pointed to us either having that slight decline and then going up for another high, and that would be the peak, or we had just peaked. All right, so that was my call. All right, and guess what, guys? All right, you literally from that high, you went down over here $8. So yeah, pretty spot on that. And this is why, guys, all right, no matter how stupid all of this looks, no matter how silly it may seem, it matters. All right, it matters. All right, history is not going to repeat itself, but it will rhyme, and that is what I was getting at by going back and showing you guys what occurred the last few times that those two conditions popped up. There we are. All right, so now we are likely going to be popping up for a new high. All right, but before I go over the smaller time frames and really talk about where I see price going on a smaller scale, let's talk about the weekly time frame. All right, let's go over the big boys. All right, bearish divergence, weekly CCI, declining volume 3 weeks in a row as you're making advances. All right, well, last time we saw that was literally here, where you had 4 weeks in a row of decreasing volume on advances, and then boom, you end up having a 2-month-long rug pull. All right, so there's that. All right, last time this bearish divergence on the weekly CCI popped up on SPY QQQ, it was on SPY. All right, it was at the exact top over here, and that was that. All right, now coming over to the daily time frame, I'm going to come over here to QQ as well. All right, you got this big fat bearish divergence going on from this point to this point over here. All right, going from there to there. And the last time you saw a bearish divergence pop up was on the top. All right, it was literally at the top, guys. It was at the top. All right, saying it has not popped up once this bear market. I don't think it's going to just be shredded through. All right, we also do have this gap fill right here, and then we have that resistance there. All right, so it would likely be aligned with this zone, we'll call it. All right here in between, this is likely where at least I see prices gonna stall out. All right, I don't think they're gonna rally all the way up here. I don't think they're just gonna stop you at 322.08. All right, I think they're going to pull some dealer tricks right here in the middle. And we've already seen the start of these dealer tricks, guys. They probably had everyone going short. I'm going to show you guys right here, over here on the 4 hour, or 1 hour, I guess we'll show it because of my line switch. All right, but you did end up breaking down from QQ's rising wedge, which has been a 3-week long pattern, which does give it a target of 304 and 284.73. All right, so there is that, which, I mean, you can honestly make it up here. All right, it was right there if you're not going to use the wicks. All right, but I use the wicks, so I will have that as the target there. All right, but yeah, everyone and their mother probably saw this thing. Well, maybe not, all right, but I know I saw this thing. All right, and people were probably tempted to get short on this thing, but guess what? All right, you did have the bullish diverge going on the hourly time frame over here on the RSI and the CCI and QQ. And you come over here to SPY. Oh, what do you have? You have the exact same thing going on. You have the bullish divergence on the RSI and CCI over there. Oh, SPX. You have the same exact thing going on. All right. And there you go. All right. Oh, and at the same time, you had that consolidation pattern across all 3 of those tickers. All right, which, did end up giving you an upward resolution there. All right. And you actually come down to the 15-minute time frame. And I think this is what I saw. It was SPX too. All right. Check SPY, right here. Yeah, right here. You can see it on QQ. And guys, this is just if you want to, you know, pinpoint price, there you go. That is how you pinpoint price action. All right. If you're seeing something on a larger time frame, you could just easily, you know, tone it back to the smaller time frames, and that is how you refine these entry points and exit points. That is that. All right. But yeah, I think it's very likely that we do end up coming up to hit this 322.08 gap fill. This is what I was saying before. All right. I think the dealer is going to pull these tricks. All right. This is definitely a trick in my opinion. All right. You started going down, but you have this consolidation pattern. And if it was a 3-week pattern, it would have this as a target. All right. So there is that. All right. But I also told you guys, I just don't think the dealer is just going to let everyone get all of their money, all right? They didn't intraday, they didn't bring you up here to the 322.08 gap fill, all right? They didn't, all right? So you would have had to not wait for your signal to pull your trade. You would have had to be an unprofessional trader in order to catch that thing, all right? So if you're just like literally waiting on your signal right there to do that, all right? So my guess is that a lot of people did not have the signal, you know, activate the trigger there, all right, for people to get short. All right, so there was that. And then also you had this breakdown from the rising wedge. I just showed you that, you know, that probably also triggered a lot of people signals on getting short. All right, so there was that. All right, so right off the bat, you have, you know, you have people not being able to get the profits out of there. All right, then you also have, you know, people right here getting short, and then boom, maybe they're going to be the people that give the fuel to this move up, because they're getting squeezed. All right, and then you come up here. Now I don't know what they're going to do here with this 322.08 gap fill. All right, maybe they do end up gapping you up above it. All right, and then maybe they you know, maybe now people are gonna have your shorts here. Okay, so people are going to be piling on. Oh, we're above resistance, we're above like gap fill. There you go. All right, so maybe people are going to pile on here. All right, they start moving prices up a little more. All right, maybe stops get hit there. All right, and then you come back. All right, and then or you just gap up right here. You come down immediately and you find support at the gap fill, and then this is what triggers stops. All right, so maybe it goes something like this. Right, the gap you up above it, they come down, bring it. This is where you get that 80% reversal rule stepping in. All right, shorts can start covering up here because you're starting to go above this high. All right, and then this is where they hit it with an intraday reversal. All right, I don't know exactly how this thing's going to play out. I'm just saying we are like very, very, very likely right at the top. So they are very likely to do some sort of trap here. All right, and like, yeah, I mean, ideally they want to trap the bulls, guys. That's what they want to do. But like, they also don't want to give the shorts the most ideal entry possible, which would be literally just an easy entry. Here your reversal comes, or here your reversal comes. All right. The thing that would cause the mockery is in here. All right. If they brought price in here, I'm just saying that is, if I was a dealer, that is what I'd be doing. All right. What did we go over? All right. We went over the weekly time frame. Went over the, what did we go over? All right, I gotta start writing things down, guys. I'm gonna literally start writing down. I got a mini whiteboard. All right, so I'm just gonna write down my own personal table of contents for my own videos. All right, I'm gonna plan out each video now instead of just coming on here hitting the record button. All right, but I mean, it's whatever, right? We get the job done. All right, these videos definitely can just be more concise and yeah. All right. So I guess we covered everything on the daily time frame other than like, hey, all right, volume wise. All right. There's nothing really telling here. All right. You have declining buy volume on everything. Maybe they end up gapping you down and then bringing you up higher. All right. Intraday. Not sure. Over here on VIX, actually, we did not talk about Mr. VIX. All right. I'm going to show you guys what I brought up last video. All right. Which was the monthly CCI over here. All right. You do have your monthly CCI in the same spot. Oversold territory here, where volatility has consolidated here and started to heat up in the following weeks. All right, that is what happened over here. Well, not in the weeks, months. All right, so that's what happened over here. This was your 2020 crash. All right, and then you had 2022. All right, going into that. So there was that. All right, and then you come over here to the weekly time frame, and you have confluence over here with the CCI and stochastic and oversold territory over there, and then you come over here to the daily time frame, and you also have the same thing. All right, which you actually currently do have the bullish divergence. I don't think that's going to hold though. I think you're very likely going to take that out. All right, you don't have to. All right, honestly, VIX is probably going to start giving some signals now that, like, typically when we are at a turning point, like up here, VIX was giving a crap ton of signals on the daily basis. All right. We haven't had one this whole time. So now that we're down here, probably going to start getting some VIX signals, meaning like, hey, VIX starts closing red with SPX, or it starts closing green with SPX, or VIX starts closing up 10%, or it closes down 10%. All right, those are the 4 signals that we can derive out of VIX. All right, and they all go off of SPX. All right, so hopefully start seeing those bad boys pop up there. All right, but yeah, as of right now, guys, you do have the you got over here on QQ, you have this triple bearish divergence going on, and you can come up here and form a bearish divergence, like another one on the RSI, and maybe that's all she wrote. All right. Or you probably don't do that, and you probably see the RSI come up higher than it did over here, but under where it is over here, which is 74, whatever. Not 74, 73, 76, all right? And that would be where I see the peak popping in, all right? So coming over here to the lower time frames, all right? This was a obvious bounce spot, at least in my opinion. All right, you do have your 4-hour CCI down over here. And the last time you got here, like exactly here, you were right here at 308. You dipped on down to 305, so $3 lower. And then you were off the races from there. And then you went up like $15 from that point. 308 all the way to, not 15, but, oh, what's the math off the top of my head? Is it 14 bucks? I don't know. All right, 14 bucks, whatever. All right, but that was going on over there, and what actually gave this move away, all right, this bounce away, is this hourly time frame. All right, you do have the bullish divergence going on there on the RSI and the CCI on QQ as it was hitting the bottom of its trend line over here. After this touch point right here, that is when I put on that trend line, so it's very telling there. You come over here to SPY, you had the same bullish divergence over here on the CCI, all right, on the RSI right there. There's that over here on SPX. All right, you had the same thing. All right, guys, when you're seeing this much confluence across all of these tickers, all right, I mean, I know SPX is SPY, all right, but everything we see on SPX means, at least to me, it means more because, you know, it doesn't have after hours, less info. All right, less data coming in. All right, signals mean more. There's that. All right, so that bounce is pretty obvious. You also had this consolidation pattern that all of them are forming. All right, and that is typically something that ends up with a upward resolution. The last time we saw that, falling wedge was down here, and you know, you were off the races for quite some time there. All right, now SPY did end up backtesting its rising wedge here that it broke down from, but SPX never did. All right, we come over here to the 4-hour time frame, and this trend line I have is pretty exact. Right, I can't really make this more of an exact trend line. All right, maybe if we change over the log, I'm not going to do that though. All right, I don't care for the log scale, and maybe I'm wrong for that. All right, maybe. Hey, if you guys know, like, hey, is that better? All right, like I know, like Bitcoin, all right, Bitcoin, you can chart that on a log scale. I still don't do that. All right, log is just like, hey guys, if something exponentially is going up, that is when you use log, at least how I understand it. That's when you use log scale, so that would be like Bitcoin. All right, but these there's no point, in my opinion, doing an SPX. All right, the moves are minuscule. All right, but yeah, all right, this trend line is pretty exact, and because of this, I know, like, hey, it's what's going to be respected, and you never came up and tapped that trend line. All right, you did not come up for the back test. So I'm just saying, if you're going to be coming up here and you break that high, the next reaction spot that I'm going to be looking for, like for sellers to start stepping in, is going to be right here. All right, it's going to be at this trend line, which would be at 416, 417, well, 41.6, 41.7 up there. All right, I trade SPY. I don't trade SPX. All right, but yeah, SPY, that ends up popping up, then I am going to be looking for this resistance up here. All right, like not too far. So this is 413, just about right there. This is up at 415. All right, so $2 above that high. All right, so SPX, I'm looking for the back test of that rising wedge. SPY, I'm looking for this resistance zone right here to be tested. All right, so that is that. All right, and guys, charts don't have to, price doesn't have to follow what I'm showing you here on the charts. All right, this is literally just me doing my preparation here. All right, and yeah, all right. All right, so I think that is pretty much it. there's not really too, I don't just want to talk your ears off here. There's not too much I can really show you more than this, all right? At the end of the day, I'm looking for that fear and greed index to tick up to extreme greed, all right? I know the move that is going to do that would take you above this high, all right? So I'm just saying, all right, that is like, if you do end up getting into the zone up here, this is when I think that fear and greed index is really going to be ready to go. All right, that is when you see, hey, most people are thinking on one side of the trade, which means most people are likely on one side of the trade. Let's pull the rug. That is when that is going to happen. The last high that took place up here was literally when we had that fear and greed index reading in extreme greed. All right, so I think that's very likely. All right. Let's see over here on VIX. All right, the last thing I could really show you guys. All right, I'll remind you what I look for to see VIX start, you know, changing trends here, or at least like switching directions. I look on the 15-minute and the 1-hour time frame for these bullish divergences to start popping up. We do have one starting to pop up here, but typically when I see this, you're going to see it pop up here. You're going to see it come down and make a lower low, and then you're going to see something like that. Make a higher high here on CCI, lower low on price. VIX isn't actually a price, all right? You don't use it as a dollar sign. VIX is kind of just VIX, all right? It's not like $409 like this. It's not $18. It's just an 18 VIX. But yeah, that is what I'm going to be watching for over here. You do see that starting to pop up here in the 15-minute time frame. So I'm going to be watching for that to form on the hourly time frame, or that start turning up, all right? And I do suspect, all right, when you're going to start doing this, that's when the SPY is going to start turning down. Then you're going to go like this. This right here is when your top on SPX is going to be. This, bingo. There you go. So when you see the bullish divergence on the hourly time frame on here on Mr. VIX, that is when you're likely going to be seeing the top form on SPX and SPY. So that is that. That is pretty much all I really had to show you guys. All right. I think I showed you guys this over here with IWM. All right. I mean, obviously, if you're watching the videos, you know about this. All right. I forgot to put a price target on the board when you broke your trend line over here. All right. Your uptrend break there, but it is 162.50 down there. You did have 3 successful back test attempts here. All right. So you clearly see sellers are they're holding the line here. They're holding the line. Then actually, the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with here is just a kind of like, hey, I can clearly see. Clear as day, all right? This is data to me, all right? All of this is data. I see what's going on, all right? You have SPY and QQQ literally just rallying their butts off decreasing volume as the RSIs get into overbought territory. And now you have, on the big tech stocks, you now have the RSIs also doing the exact same thing, all right? NVIDIA, there's that. All right, you come over here to Goog. Actually, we had a new divergent high right here on Goog. All right, right here. All right, and then you come over here. Amazon's the only one that not really doing anything crazy over there. But it is holding this uptrend, right, guys? All right, when you see things happening on these guys, all right, QQ is probably going to be following them, okay? Got over like Apple was holding this uptrend over here. All right, so even though QQQ ended up breaking down here, all right, still thought it was likely to see this upward resolution. All right, so there's that. All right, yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. All right, that's it. I just don't want to talk your ears off. Hope everybody has a lovely Easter. I hope everybody kills the upcoming week, guys. All right, and yeah, all right, the last thing I'll say, hey, if you guys found value in this content, all right, that I provide for absolutely no cost to you, if you enjoy the insights that I provide, hey, please support the channel with a like. I'd appreciate it so much. All right. I promise, guys, it puts a smile on my face to see those likes. I promise. So please put a smile on my face. It's not gonna make me depressed if I don't get a bunch of likes. Not at all. But like, just look at it this way. All right. Guy puts hours of his time, like this video in particular. I already recorded this video, guys. It was just too long to my liking. I just don't want to put it out there. Guess what? We just put another half an hour into this. So like, hey guys, guess what? Guy puts hours of his time into content that he puts his heart into as well. You know, all right, when people show him that they appreciate it, it makes him feel good. All right, so there's that. All right, and with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.